That 80s guy. Exterior medical building day. 80s music plays. Superimpose. Wednesday, 2 days before reunion. A middle-aged male wearing earbuds leans on a nearby wall outside the main entrance. He listens to the music we're hearing as the afternoon lunch crowd passes by. Hayden Bell, 40s, suspicious long hair, but owns a friendly face and glamorous smile. 80s music stops. He glances at his watch.
Unreal. Late again.
Just then, a Ford Mustang pulls up and parks in the handicap space right in front. Brandon Bell, 40s, darker hair, though Rico suave of the modern day, steps out. He sees his brother and opens his arms to him with an "I'm sorry" look. Hayden shakes his head at him as he abandons his car. A woman walking by stares at Brandon with a disgusted look.
Selfishness is a disease, lady. Have some compassion.
Hayden and Brandon meet up in front of the entrance.
You're gonna get excited.
I didn't want to be late for you, bro.
You are late. Dude, we can't keep this guy waiting. He's a professional. Probably has other clients to see.
You're right. I apologize. But hey, I'm here, right?
Yeah, look, thanks for coming. I appreciate the support.
No sweat. Hey, you sure about this? I mean, in the old days, we'd just light a doobie and drown out all our troubles, am I right?
Yeah, but I'm looking for a permanent solution, man. I really need this to work if I'm gonna go through with it Saturday.
Brandon sighs.
All right, let's do it.
They both head inside the building, which reads, Hypnotherapy Oasis, Theodore Asher, BCH, PhD. Interior hypnotherapy office, day. A typical office with mahogany furniture, patient couch, and education degrees framed on the wall. The entry door opens and a receptionist enters, followed by the brothers. She motions to 2 chairs in front of the plush desk.
Please have a seat. Dr. Asher will be in momentarily.
Thank you.
She closes the door behind her as they take the seats and scan the office. Scenic paintings of beaches and green rolling hills adorn the walls.
I feel like I'm gonna get my palm read.
I think we're supposed to feel relaxed in here.
There's always prescriptions, you know?
Absolutely no meds. I've made it to 47 without any dependency. Do you realize how rare that is nowadays? There's like millions of people half our age who've been popping pills since like they were kids.
Brandon listens to him while taking a pill.
No, this has to be the answer. I actually got a good feeling about it.
I had a good feeling about my ex-wife when we met.
You never wanted to be married. You were just trying to please mom and dad.
Brandon rolls his eyes.
Still am. By the way, I wouldn't mention this to them.
Hey, they taught us to think outside the box, right? Many people nowadays don't do that either.
Brandon notices a portrait behind the desk on the wall. He squints at it, gets up, and walks over to it.
Yeah, well, we come from a different era, partner.
Hayden stares off for a beat, shows a slight grin.
A better one. Those were good times. No worries in the world, just rocking out in the garage with the guys.
We sucked.
Come on, we weren't that bad.
Brandon stares at the portrait with a quizzical expression. An image of the therapist who's a bear of a man like Grizzly Adams. He holds one of his award certificates with a strange grin. Brandon looks back at Hayden with the same frozen expression.
What do you know about this guy?
He's a top hypnotherapist in the state, board certified and a psychiatrist on top of that. All reviews on Yelp read good.
How do you know they weren't under his spell when they wrote it?
Suddenly, the door swings wide open and in walks the bear himself, Theodore Asher, 40s, a wide-eyed, large man with an even larger suit, suspenders, and a funny bow tie. He spreads his arms as wide as his smile.
The mind is a terrible thing not to tamper with.
He lets out a belly of a laugh. Brandon stares with wide eyes.
Holy shit.
Asher walks towards Brandon with arms still wide open.
You must be Hayden.
Brandon shakes his head and just points to Hayden. Asher changes direction and heads to Hayden, who hesitantly smiles.
Hello, doctor.
Asher gives him a big hug that practically lifts Hayden off his feet.
Here's a hug for you.
He lets go of Hayden, who plops back down on the chair. He turns to Brandon with a big grin.
Plenty more where that came from.
I'm good.
Asher walks around the desk and sits in his big swivel chair.
I do that to all my subjects. Helps with the relaxation process. The more comfortable they are, the more effective the indoctrination, or at least the more intense the derealization.
He laughs out loud again as the brothers just stare at him. He stops laughing, clears his throat.
So, how can I help you?
Maybe with some anxiety issues. Our 30th high school reunion is this weekend, and I'm a little stressed out over it.
Why would you have anxiety over that?
Well, there may be some people that probably will show up who used to make me maybe feel a little uncomfortable.
He's freaking out about seeing this girl that he used to like.
Hayden snaps his head at Brandon.
Would you let me handle this, please?
I know it's a little hard for you to talk about sometimes, bro.
It's not that hard if you just...
Sorry, it's just like that one time when...
They continue their banter back and forth as Asher's eyes bounce between them like ping pong balls.
Gentlemen, listen. I understand this may be somewhat awkward if you haven't experienced it before. Hypnotherapy can be troubling for some to accept as an alternative solution to their physiological challenges. However, I see all sorts of individuals with various phobias and dilemmas. Alcohol, drugs, pain, and emotional intolerances, sex toy dependencies, you name it.
The brothers stare at him.
Trust me, anxiety issues are just another form of subconscious roadblocks brought on by fear. But fortunately, it's something that hypnosis can treat very effectively. Now, tell me about this woman who you used to salivate over. Fancy.
I kind of like salivate.
Hayden glares at him, then turns back to Asher and lets out a deep breath.
Well, what can I say? She was perfect. She was the homecoming queen, president of our class, the prom queen. She had all the right qualities. Funny, smart, pretty.
Class hottie.
And this Robin, did she feel the same way about you? Or ever mention anything similar?
Hayden shifts uncomfortably in his chair.
She maybe would say hey or something.
Flashback to Interior Biology class, day 1987. Hayden sits alone at his science table. Various students are sitting at rows of science tables. Robin, 17, the ultimate 80s cheerleader, enters into the room with Anne.
So you're saying that Rick and I will be king and queen?
I'd say it's a sure thing.
We need to find a dress.
Like, let's go to the mall tomorrow after school.
Totally.
They sit in the table in front of Hayden. He seems to be frozen as he stares at the back of Robin's hair. Mr. Winkleman, 50, enters the room with his hands in his pockets.
Good afternoon. I hope everyone had a pleasant lunch. Now it's time to dissect some frogs.
He chuckles. The class is silent.
Go grab a Kermit and get to it then.
The students get up from their science tables and go to grab a jar with their pickled frog. Hayden's frog is quite large in his jar. He places it on his table and doesn't see his pen underneath, and the jar falls in front of his table and smashes right behind Robin. Robin and Anne both jump and quickly turn around.
Hey,
They see the slimy frog on floor.
Grody.
to the max for sure.
Anne looks at Hayden.
Nice job. You killed Kermit twice.
Robin and Anne laugh. Mr. Winkleman looks up from his desk.
Robin and Anne, move over to another table. Clean it up, Mr. Bell.
Hayden sighs and goes back to the back of the room to get mop and bucket. Dissolve 2, Interior Hypnotherapy Office, day. Brandon swings his arm over and pats Hayden's back.
My brother wasn't in the most popular clique back then, let's put it that way.
Nerd?
Egghead City.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we held the top GPAs that year. Thank you very much. Citywide. We were creating program codes on the Apple II that...
Brandon rolls his eyes. Flashback to Interior Brandon and Hayden's garage, night, 1987. Brandon, 17, with long rocker hair, sits away jamming on the drum set. He looks up and Hayden, 17, with equally long rocker hair, saunters over, jamming on electric guitar. It's obvious they believe it's the best music ever, but it's horrendous.
Way to shred, bro.
Not as good as your sticks.
They high-five each other.
Hey, check this little riff I've been working on.
Hayden plays a very slow ballad part on his electric guitar. Brandon looks on with amazement and shock. Hayden ends his short solo.
That was both epic and wrong at the same time. We can't do a ballad until we get our rocker hit, bro.
I just came up with it after 4th period today for some reason.
What was so inspiring about 4th period biology? Mr. Winkleman is quite the riot, however.
It wasn't really the class. It was nothing.
A chick. Who was it? Let me guess. Josie Fields?
Josie, she's not even in that class. She never came back from summer vacation, is what I heard.
Liz. No, wait, Anne. I knew it.
Nope. Can you just let it go?
Brandon jumps up from behind the drum set and walks over to Hayden and puts him in a headlock.
I'm not letting it go until you tell me who it is.
Hayden tries to push him off.
Hey, let go, loser.
Who is it?
I can't breathe.
Tell me, bro.
All right.
Brandon lets go.
Robin Stassler.
Brandon smiles and laughs.
Robin Stassler? Dude, that's so bodacious. She's choice.
Don't say anything, Brandon. Seriously,
Relax, Spaz. I won't. Bro code.
Brandon shakes Hayden's hand.
Keep working on that. I'm gonna go grab some oatmeal cookies.
Brandon walks into the house. Hayden gives a big sigh and looks perplexed. He starts to play on his guitar again. Interior kitchen night. Brandon walks into the kitchen. Barbara, 45, is pulling out a tray of freshly baked cookies from the oven. She looks over and sees Brandon.
Just in time, honey.
She takes a cookie from tray and hands it to Brandon.
Thanks, Mom.
You guys sound totally rad for sure. That's how I say good, right?
Brandon laughs. Fred Bell, cool 80s dad, walks in the kitchen wearing a hip members-only jacket.
It would totally rad if I would be able to park back in the garage one day.
We're just starting to feel the jam, Dad.
So, like, I'm not getting my garage back anytime soon, is what you're saying?
For sure.
Brandon smiles, grabs another cookie, and heads back into garage.
I think they're getting better.
Brandon and Hayden start to play music again, which is completely not the sounds of a finely tuned 80s band.
Let's hope so.
He grabs a cookie and kisses Barbara on the cheek.
Fred.
Barbara?
He then leans in and kisses her on the lips. Exterior, Saguaro High School, morning, 1987. Fred, Brandon, and Hayden drive up to parking lot in Fred's Oldsmobile.
Hey, Pop, can you just drop us off right here?
I can take you all the way to the front.
Thanks, Dad, but chicks don't dig dudes seeing their dad drop them off at school.
Well, if you boys didn't run over Mrs. Caden's mailbox, you would have a car to drive.
Brandon and Hayden look over at each other and shrug.
Only one more week, though, right, Pops?
Fred stops the car.
We will see about that.
Brandon and Hayden jump out of the car. Fred shakes his head and drives away. Interior high school hallway, day. Students fill the hallway with lockers, all separated by the various 80s cliques. Jocks, nerds, cheerleaders, etc. Brandon and Hayden enter the hallway. George, 16, high school nerd version, runs up to Brandon and Hayden.
Hey guys, what's up? I scored on 5 floppy disks for under the price of 2.
This is where I part ways for the day. See you later.
Brandon saunters down the hallway trying to look cool.
Hey, Georgie. Awesome. Where did you get them?
Gemco?
Score.
They high-five each other. Rick, 17, quarterback magnifico, walks down the hallway wearing his Letterman jacket. Rick passes by Hayden and shoulders him to his locker.
Out of the way, geek.
Rick walks past and joins the group of jocks down the hallway. The jocks laugh and greet Rick. Hayden rubs his shoulder.
You okay?
Yeah.
Hayden looks and sees Robin join up with Rick. She hugs him.
Robin Stassler is out of our league.
What does she see in that jock anyway?
No clue, dude. No clue. She doesn't even know we exist, let alone our names.
Someday.
You've listened to Van Halen's Dreams one too many times. Let's get to class.
Hayden and George walk down and enter classroom. Interior computer lab, classroom, day. Hayden and George immediately gather around the latest Commodore computer along with the rest of the students. Max, 18, king of the computer nerds, is playing Oregon Trail.
Dysentery will not find its way on this trip.
Everyone cheers. Debbie, 17, the rare high school girl who was interested in computers, moves up behind Hayden. Debbie clears her throat. Hayden doesn't notice.
Hey, Hayden.
Hayden still doesn't respond. She moves next to Hayden and accidentally bumps into him.
I'm sorry.
Hayden turns to her.
No worries. You think Max will make it?
Debbie adjusts her glasses.
I...
Mr. Henderson, 45, computer lab teacher dressed in the best suit a teacher could afford in the 80s, puts his briefcase on his desk.
Let's get to work, everyone. Pull out their floppies from yesterday's program.
All the students make it to their desks. Hayden runs to his desk, leaving Debbie. Debbie shrugs and slowly makes it to her desk behind Hayden. Interior computer lab classroom, later. The bell rings. All the students jump up and rush to the door. Hayden rushes out with George. Debbie, in no rush, closes up her notebook. On the cover, we see close up a heart with Hayden written in the center of it. She gets up and walks out of the classroom. Interior hallway, front of cafeteria, day. Brenda, 17, wears glasses and sits at a table decorated with a sign above her that reads, Homecoming Dance Tickets. Brandon walks up to table.
So, what kind of discount can I get?
Tickets are $5.
Brandon looks, grabs his wallet, and pulls out $2.
How about $2?
Brenda holds up her hand and counts out 3 fingers.
Add 1, 2, 3. You can add, can't you?
Good one, Four Eyes.
Brandon gets $3 more from his wallet and hands it to Brenda. She shoots him a dirty look and hands him a ticket.
Hope you don't break a leg at the dance.
Ha ha. Later.
Interior cafeteria, same. Brandon walks over to the table where Hayden, George, Max are sitting.
Hayden, you got a few bucks I can borrow for lunch? Just spent my last $5 on a ticket to the homecoming dance.
Yeah, I got a couple.
$5, man, that's a rip.
Brandon notices Max eating something that looks like macaroni and cheese. Brandon grabs his stomach.
Never mind.
Brandon looks over and sees Robin sitting next to Rick across the cafeteria.
Hey, Hayden, your homecoming date is sitting next to Rick.
Brandon laughs. Hayden looks mortified.
In his dreams.
Dude, bro code.
Oh, yeah, forgot.
Hayden looks over and sees Robin feed Rick a french fry. They both laugh.
You should probably introduce yourself first.
All the guys laugh. Hayden picks up his backpack and storms out of the cafeteria. Interior hallway, front of cafeteria, continuous. Hayden accidentally runs into Debbie, who stands in front of homecoming dance table. Her books go flying, and they both tumble to the ground. Brenda looks on.
What is it with you and your brother?
Hayden scrambles to help Debbie up and grabs her books off the ground.
I'm so sorry.
Debbie.
Debbie. Yeah.
An awkward glance between Hayden and Debbie.
You going to the homecoming dance?
I haven't really thought about it.
Brenda leans over and intervenes.
How about 2 tickets for $6? I'll give you a break. You owe Debbie something for almost giving her a concussion.
Hayden looks shocked. He looks over at Debbie. She smiles. Hayden reaches into his wallet and hands Brenda the $6. Brenda begins to hand Hayden the tickets, and he starts backing up.
I have to get going. Just give them to Debbie.
He then turns and runs away.
Okay.
Brenda gives Debbie the tickets. Debbie watches Hayden run down the hallway. Exterior front of Saguaro High School, afternoon. Barbara is the first car in line in the pickup zone at school. She sees Brandon coming down the steps. She steps out of the car and yells over to him.
Over here, honey!
Brandon looks around to make sure no one else noticed, but it's obvious he is the center of attention.
You've got to be kidding me.
Brandon rushes over and gets into car. Barbara still stands outside the car door and leans in.
Where's your brother?
I have no idea. Mom, how many times have I told you to park in the back of the school?
It's so much easier parking in front.
She gets into car.
Just drive around back and see if Hayden's there.
She starts to drive away.
So, how was your day?
Brandon rolls his eyes. Exterior back of Saguaro High School day. Hayden looks at his state-of-the-art 80s calculator watch.
Guess I'm walking home.
A car horn honks. Hayden looks over and sees Barbara wave her hand out the window.
Oh my God.
She stops the car next to him. Hayden opens back door, tosses his backpack in, and sits down. Interior car, continuous.
We thought we lost you.
Brandon turns back to Hayden.
Too bad we didn't.
Shut up, Brandon.
Boys.
Seems Hayden has a date already for the homecoming dance.
Brandon smirks.
Oh? Who's the lucky girl?
Debbie Meyer.
It's no one, Mom. Just a minor misunderstanding.
He's just pissed off that it's not Robin Stassler.
No more bro code, and I'm done talking to you.
Debbie? Robin? They both sound like sweet girls.
He's not home?
He didn't come home last night.
That's a really good sign, or an extremely bad one.
He is back from that whole 80s thing, isn't he?
I sure hope so, Mom. I sure hope so.
Interior Hayden's room, night. Classic 80s posters hang on the walls. The iconic Heather Locklear poster, even. A Commodore 64 sits on Hayden's desk, bookshelf filled with 80s galore, even a Rubik's Cube. Hayden enters and turns on the small TV that sits in corner. He flops down into a beanbag. Close up on TV screen, actual footage of Martha Quinn.
That's from the Police, Every Breath You Take, from the album Synchronicity. I've got new Quarter Flash on the way, Take Me to Heart. Look for that in about 15 minutes. And news is up next. I'll be talking about David Bowie and what is happening after this word from Milky Way.
How is it that every time I want to just watch a video, Martha Quinn is always talking? So annoying.
Hayden gets up and turns off TV mid-Milky Way commercial. A knock at his door. Brandon pops his head in.
Hey, bro. Just wanted to say sorry.
Mom made you come up here, didn't she?
Brandon enters into room.
Kind of. At the end of the day, you're still my brother. If there's anything I can do to make it up for breaking the bro code, let me know.
Hayden thinks for a second.
Do you want to go to the mall tomorrow?
For what?
I think Robin is going to be there.
Robin. Dude, you have more of a shot with Heather there than with Robin.
Brandon points to Heather Locklear poster.
But whatever, it's your call. I'll go.
Thanks.
Interior mall, late afternoon. The 80s mall with all the classic shops. Brandon and Hayden step out of Orange Julius, each with an orange specialty drink in their hand.
So what exactly is your objective today? Getting a name, date, or laid? I can help arrange any of those, and in any order.
Whoa, bro, I don't know, maybe just let Robin know I actually exist? At least know my name?
I can work on the laid part too, if you want me to. Although I wouldn't recommend it while she's still dating Rick.
They walk past the shop, software, etc. Hayden starts to enter. Brandon grabs his arm.
I don't think Robin is going to be shopping for floppy disks anytime soon. Focus, Hayden. Focus.
But they have an awesome deal on Defender of the Crown, Commodore.
We didn't come here to buy games, Hayden. We came to play a game called Grow a Pair, Hayden, in real life. Now, I'm just putting my best Magnum PI skills to use here. If I were a chick, I'd be going to...
Spencer's?
No.
Hickory Farms.
Yeah, the chicks all hang out at Hickory Farms to buy cheese logs.
Hayden shrugs his shoulders.
It's gotta be The Gap, Contempo Casuals, or depending when the last Duran Duran album came out, Camelot Records. Let's try The Gap first.
Hayden and Brandon walk to escalator going to second floor. As they get on, Hayden looks over and sees Robin and Anne coming down the escalator next to it. Each holds shopping bags.
Oh God, there she is.
Where?
Hayden points to Robin and Anne. They all reach the halfway point on both escalators.
Hey, Robin. What's up?
Hayden is mortified and turns the other way. Robin and Anne look at Brandon and fake a smile.
Who was that?
Brandon Bell. He thinks he's Rico Suave or something. Junior year, he asked like every girl out in our class.
Did anyone go out with him?
I don't think so.
They both laugh. Hayden and Brandon reach the top of the escalator.
Dude, why did you do that?
Just getting her attention.
Brandon looks down and sees Robin and Anne head towards Camelot Records.
Yep, album dropped.
Maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all.
Brandon grabs Hayden and heads to down escalator.
Come on, don't be a wussy.
Brandon notices Hayden is visibly shaken and looking kind of pale.
Yeah, I'm not feeling so good.
Are you gonna puke?
Hayden holds his stomach.
That Orange Julius isn't sitting too well, you know.
They reach the bottom of escalator and Hayden runs to the nearest trash can, leans over, and deposits the Orange Julius from his stomach.
Guess it's time for Plan B some other time.
Brandon shakes his head and heads over to Hayden.
Hayden, you okay?
Hayden looks up.
She didn't see me, did she?
No, but the rest of them all did. Let me get you home. There's always tomorrow.
Dissolve to present day, interior hypnotherapy office day. Asher stands up and slowly strolls around and leans on the front side of his desk in facing Hayden.
Okay, I think I understand what we're dealing with here. Gynophobia is a serious problem. Your past behavior in high school around this girl was less stellar or too geeky or uncool than what you would like to remember. Correct?
Hayden sighs.
Compounded by the fact 30 years has passed, making those nerve-wracking memories cause emotional scars to your subconscious, creating fear to the point you can't even see yourself encountering her in a normal, unstressed, neutral environment.
Hayden just stares at him.
Yeah, I guess.
Did you ever try to talk to her? Tell her how you felt about her?
Hayden disappointedly shakes his head.
Ever call her on the phone or drive by her house?
Hayden gives a confused look.
No.
Did you ever fantasize about her? Maybe a little date with Andrea and Palmela? Going Han Solo on Darth Vader's head?
Brandon raises his eyebrows and looks at Hayden.
No, hey, what does that got to do with... What does that got to do with what we're talking about here?
Asher takes another stroll.
Being put under medical hypnosis is a very serious undertaking, Mr. Bell. These questions, however intruding they may be, helps me determine the right technique to perform.
Asher ends up right back in front on Hayden. He leans towards him and puts his arm on his shoulder.
I know you and I can remove the emotional blockage you have hidden away that's preventing you from moving towards a more healthy and happy you. Together, we can make you the person you really want to become.
Hayden stares at him with an unsure look for a beat, then cranes over to his brother. Brandon looks at both of them with an unsure look.
I think I'll wait outside.
Interior hypnotherapy office, moments later. Hayden lies back on the hypnosis couch. Asher stands in front of him, oscillating his index fingers forward and back at him.
Relax, just focus on my fingers.
Hayden squints and watches his fingers move.
You are getting very sleepy.
Brandon's eyelids start to close as his head drops, then snaps back up with eyes wide open.
Just kidding.
Asher takes a remote device and pushes a couple buttons. The office room lights immediately dim, and a large flat panel monitor that faces Hayden illuminates. Suddenly, optical 3D imagery objects appear from the screen. They seem to hover a few feet in front with a circular motion in various changing colors. Asher walks behind Hayden, leaving him alone facing the floating images.
What you see here is a hypnotic induction. Sensory 3D images for neurological stimulation and mental relaxation. Just focus on whichever object or objects you choose. Maintain as relaxed as possible and don't change your breathing rate.
Hayden remains still and stares at the rotating holographic images.
Think of the most pleasant place or moments in your life that you can remember. Relax your mind.
Hayden's eyelids slowly begin to lower until they close. He remains completely still. Asher sits in his chair, which is now behind Hayden's head. He focuses on him.
We're just going to relax and breathe deeply.
Hayden shows rapid eye movement under his eyelids as he continues to lay otherwise still while breathing heavily. We fade into a dreamlike state. Into your hypnotherapy office later. Asher's face is close to Hayden's, who's still laying on the couch with his eyes closed. Brandon, on the edge of his chair, watches both of them.
Hayden?
Hayden doesn't move.
Hayden, I want you to wake up. Hayden, can you hear me?
Hayden slowly opens his eyes, blinks rapidly for a couple beats.
Hayden, how are you feeling? You okay?
Hayden slowly gets up to a seated position and scans the office.
Oh, wow, I feel awesome. Wow, this feels totally awesome.
Asher nods his head excitedly and sports a huge grin.
Any dizziness or lightheaded?
Not at all. And I think you and me going through all this was just awesome. I feel you've really helped me. Thank you.
Asher looks seriously into Hayden's eyes.
Hayden, you're a very confident individual. Confidence is your ally. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
Fear does not control you. You have self-determination in all that you do and say to others. Do you understand?
Hayden nods with an assuring smile. Interior hypnotherapy office continuous. Asher opens his door and sees Brandon sitting in the waiting area dozing off.
Like magic.
Brandon snaps his head with eyes wide open. He looks at Asher. Hayden sees his brother and gives him a smiling nod.
Hey, bro.
Brandon enters back into the office.
How you doing, big guy? You okay?
Yeah, feeling pretty rad.
Rad? Haven't heard that one in a while.
Hayden sports a big smile as he shakes Asher's hand excitingly.
This dude's totally awesome.
Brandon looks at him with a skeptical expression.
Yeah, awesome.
He rolls his eyes over to Asher.
Can I chat with you for a moment?
Asher looks at Hayden and motions to a nearby television.
Feel free to watch some TV if you like while I speak with your brother.
Righteous. Thanks.
Hayden takes the remote and starts flipping channels as Asher and Brandon step to the far side of the room.
Listen, Doc, I'll be riding on every word you say with this because I know absolutely nothing about this crap.
Asher tilts his head down while raising his eyebrows.
I mean, treatment. All I know is I don't want to see my brother crushed and depressed over this stupid reunion, you know?
I understand, and that's why I'm glad you're here. I want you to monitor him for me.
They both crane over and see Hayden nodding his head as he stops changing the channels and looks back over to them.
MTV!
Right now, he's in a state of heightened suggestibility. He'll accept things concretely, if not literally, so it's important you avoid either stating or implying anything that may work against his goals. He already appears subconsciously conditioned for fear suppression. Should be fine for encountering any old friends tonight.
Hayden looks back at them with a confused look.
Hey, where's all the music videos?
Brandon and Asher stare at him.
Does that seem normal to you?
Asher raises his eyebrows a bit as he continues looking at him.
Maybe some mild memory impairment, histrionic reactions, but I'm not seeing any complications.
Complications? Like what?
Oh, fatigue, drowsiness, headaches,
Brandon looks relieved.
Okay.
identity crisis, phobic aversion, regressed behaviors, tremors,
Brandon's face completely changes.
Huh?
psychosis, tactile hallucinations, psychomotor retardation.
Holy shit!
No worries! Those are in extremely rare cases. If anything out of the ordinary arises, bring him to me! As you can see, he's developed a bond with his therapist, which usually happens. I have the proper trigger word and dehypnotize procedure standing by.
Hayden switches off the television.
Jeez. Spaz Martha Quinn must be on right now. She's always yapping too much and going to commercials.
Martha Quinn?
Hayden strolls over to them.
She's not my favorite VJ anyway. Hey, we better get going if we're gonna hit up the mall for new threads, huh?
80s music starts playing. Brandon just stares at him for a couple beats, then slowly cranes over to Asher, who nods at him with an encouraging grin.
Have fun!
They both look over at Hayden, who stands with a huge smile. Interior mall, afternoon. 80s music plays. A spacious, two-story metro complex filled with the usual stores and plenty of modern-day shoppers. In the midst of it all are the brothers Hayden and Brandon. Hayden rises into view wearing the latest pair of dark sunglasses as he checks himself out in the customer mirror. Brandon stands behind him with arms folded. He looks at him with a curious face. Hayden takes off the shades and looks at another store. He excitingly smiles and motions to Brandon before hurrying off. Brandon follows him cautiously. Interior clothing store, continuous. Brandon reaches Hayden, who's looking over a retro-looking shirt. 80s music stops.
Yesterday you said you wanted to get a blazer for Saturday.
A blazer? That's for old dudes.
Well, how young do you think we...
Suddenly, Hayden looks across the way.
A van store? Dude, no way!
He bolts for it. Brandon watches him go. Interior van store, continuous. Hayden looks over classic black and white checkered pair as Brandon catches up with him.
Listen, Spicoli. When you're done reminiscing, can we get on with finding a blazer so we can get the hell out of here?
Hayden puts down the shoe and turns to Brandon.
You know what, bro? I can't make up my mind what to wear for the dance. I want to look good if she's going to be there, you know? I'm going to totally need a whole new outfit.
Seriously?
Yeah, let's go.
80s music plays. Begin montage. Hayden goes through a series of wardrobe changes. Every one of the outfits are a throwback to 80s attire. Surfer look, preppy look, new wave look. Brandon stands by and has various reactions to each of the outfit changes, ranging from a slight frown to a complete wide-eyed, horrified look. Hayden ends up with one final outfit that looks like a tribute to Jake Ryan from 16 Candles. End montage, 80s music stops.
This is it.
Brandon stares motionless.
Did I miss an email that this was going to be a theme reunion?
Email?
Hayden notices his long hair and begins touching it.
What's wrong?
Dude, why did I let my hair get this long? I thought we were going to do a hairband look.
Brandon frowns at him.
Yeah, besides, Robin doesn't like big hairbands. Is there a salon in this mall?
Brandon just stares at him. Interior hair salon, later. We see the back of the hip, stylish hairdresser as he finishes his last snips. He steps to the side and reveals the back of Hayden's hair, which is still long. The hairdresser spins Hayden around and we see his big smile and hairstyle, the classic mullet. Brandon stares with his mouth open.
You have to be shitting me.
Hayden sighs as he keeps an excited grin.
This is it, bro. I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to talk to Robin.
Exterior Robin's house, day. A luxury car pulls up to her ranch-style home. Allison, 13, a precocious teenager, and her younger brother Michael, 10, both exit the car and slam the door shut. Michael dashes inside the house as Allison stares at her cell phone and walks right past Robin Stassler, 40s, the former popular cheerleader, and goes straight into the house.
Not even a hello, Mom?
Robin walks over to the driver's side. The window rolls down, revealing Rick, 40s, looking as though he would be a preppy jock of the 80s era. He glances at her through his sunglasses.
Well, what's the unique pleasure of this conversation?
You were supposed to bring them back an hour ago.
You got sidetracked at the dealership. Plus, it's not like Allison was dying to get back here.
Unlike our marriage, let's just try to make this as easy as possible, shall we?
I'm not the one complaining.
I'm supposed to meet up with Liz and Ann Saturday before heading to the 30th. Just a little consideration from you would be helpful. So promise you'll have them back on time.
Rick lowers his shades.
You're going to the 30th? Why?
It's good to know you won't be there. Makes for a better evening.
Maybe I should go. Just to show you how relevant I am in all those losers' lives.
He gives her a devilish grin as she flips him the bird. The window rolls back up as the car pulls away. Robin watches him leave for a beat with a disgusted look, then heads toward the house. Exterior mall entrance, afternoon. Hayden and Brandon step outside. Hayden is holding a half dozen shopping bags.
Dude, my wardrobe is set for the whole year. I'm psyched.
Yeah, I'll know who to ask if I ever go to an 80s costume party. I'm this way. Where did you park?
Over there. Hey, my car is wicked rad too, by the way. Except, what's up with all the radio stations? I don't recognize any songs that they're playing.
Brandon stops and just looks at him.
You're really starting to freak me out, you know that? You okay going home?
Yeah, bro. But I gotta make a quick stop first. There's something I need to do.
Hayden starts walking away and looks back at Brandon over his shoulder.
Tell Mom I'll be home in a bit. Go ahead and start dinner without me.
Brandon watches him leave with a confused stare. Interior Robin's house, later. Allison and Michael both help their mother, Robin, pick up dishes from the dinner table. Michael drops his plate in the sink and bolts for the stairs.
Netflix time!
Robin immediately turns.
Whoa, young man. You have homework to do first. And you, help me with the dishes.
Allison's face cringes.
I thought it was his turn.
No, it's not. I did it yesterday.
Allison frowns at him as he returns his own nasty look to her.
Little turd.
Both of you stop. Allison, don't call your little brother a fetus. You, start cracking on that math. I want to check it when you're done.
She tosses Allison a drying towel.
This is such a drag. Why can't we get a maid like Dad has?
I wish you would stop throwing that stuff in my face. You know I'm doing the best I can.
I get it, Mom. It's just difficult when having to come back to...
Rules? A little more chores than what your father has you do? Well, excuse me for trying to be a better parent. Maybe if he would have kept his pants on around that bimbo secretary, we wouldn't have...
Suddenly, Michael reappears and looks at his mother as she continues to argue with Allison.
Mom?
Would you stop bringing that up? Oh, forget it, okay?
I would gladly if you would stop reminding me with all this ridiculous...
Mom?
Robin finally notices him standing there.
What?
Why is there a guy in our front yard holding up a big radio?
She looks at him with a confused look. Exterior window, continuous. Robin moves aside the curtains, looks out, and sees Hayden as he stands in front of his car holding a boombox over his head. The music blares throughout the street. She squints her eyes at him as her kids both look outside.
Who is that freak?
Mom, do you know him?
He looks familiar.
She thinks for a beat while she stares at him.
Wait a second.
She pulls out her cell phone and scrolls through it. Close-up cell phone. We see the reunion's Facebook page filled with faces of the graduated class. She stops scrolling and looks at the photos of Hayden and Brandon. After a beat, she looks back out through the window.
Hayden Bell?
Who?
I went to high school with him.
Allison and Michael share a quick laugh.
Wow, you went to school with him?
Oh my God, you knew him?
don't
What a
know.
loser.
I don't really know him that well.
Should we call the cops?
No, I don't really want to do that to a classmate, no matter how crazy he is.
She looks back at her cell.
I got another idea.
Close-up, cell phone. Under each photo are phone number links. Robin taps on Brandon's. His phone number appears, and she hits the FaceTime button. Interior Brandon's car, same. As he drives, Brandon's phone goes off. He glances down and notices the FaceTime request. He presses it, and Robin suddenly appears on the screen. Brandon's eyebrows raise dramatically.
Robin Stassler? Holy cow! You're not looking for a date for Saturday, are you? Because I might have to put you on the cancellation list.
We might interchange between the two.
That wasn't funny even 30 years ago.
He rolls his eyes.
Ugh. I'm calling to ask if you know the whereabouts of your brother.
Brandon frowns.
Hayden? I just left him an hour ago. No, why?
Robin switches her phone camera around and points it at Hayden. Brandon squints closely at his phone with a strange look as he sees his brother in the front yard holding the radio.
The hell?
Robin turns her phone back around to herself.
You mind coming down here to get him off my yard before the neighbors call the police? I'll text you the address.
She hangs up. Brandon looks back up at the road, still holding the same strange face. Exterior Robin's house, continuous. Robin exits quickly out the front door and approaches Hayden, waving her arms. He sees her and smiles.
Hey, shut that off. What are you doing?
Hayden turns down the music.
Why are you blaring that on my front yard?
Hi. I thought you liked that song. Check it out. It's a CD.
Yeah, I like the classics, but you can't be blasting that old thing. My senile neighbors will freak. You're Hayden, right?
His smile intensifies.
Yes, it's Hayden from 4th period.
I thought I'd recognize you in the reunion Facebook page. You and your brother?
Facebook? You mean the yearbook? Wow, I didn't know they were out already.
Funny. Listen, what are you doing here?
He puts the radio down on the ground.
I just wanted to let you know I think you're so awesome and was wondering if maybe we could meet up at the dance on Saturday. I mean, if you're not too busy with the whole homecoming thing and all.
She stares at him with a quizzical expression.
Are you talking about the event this Saturday? Yeah, I'll be there. Are you going? How did you know where I live?
Yeah, I remembered. Sorry if I disturbed your
She
parents.
shows a confused look.
My parents retired to Florida. We bought the house, so yeah, I never left. They gave us a great deal, and of course, that's something Rick enjoyed. You remember Rick, right?
Hayden's smile vanishes.
Oh, yeah. You still seeing that, Jock?
She slightly chuckles.
That's a good one. Ugh, no. Without getting into the gory details, we ended it a while back.
Hayden jumps around exuberantly.
Sweet!
Robin nervously looks around as Brandon suddenly pulls up next to them in his vehicle. He steps out and sees his brother cheering like his team just scored a touchdown.
Hey!
Dude, her and Rick are history.
Brandon looks over at Robin, who just shakes her head, confused. He takes Hayden aside over by his car, away from Robin.
Sorry, Robin. Excuse us for just a minute.
I did it, bro. I finally did.
Did what?
I told her how I felt. How I thought she was great, and I asked her if we could meet up at the homecoming dance.
Brandon stares at him confused.
I'm telling you, bro, this is it. I've been watching her for 3 years, and now with Rick out of the picture, I think I may have...
3 years? Bro, you've been talking about her ever since high school.
Yeah, and now that it's our last year, I may get the chance with her, and she's gonna be homecoming queen too. Can you believe it? Me with the homecoming queen?
Brandon's eyes widen as he stares at Hayden.
Whoa, wait a minute. Dance. Homecoming
He
queen.
slowly glances over at Robin.
I remember that night.
He looks back at Hayden with a serious face.
Martha Quinn. Hayden, what did the doctor say to you?
Hayden ponders for a beat.
He told me what I needed to hear, I guess. Now listen, Saturday is gonna be our last homecoming dance.
Hayden pats his brother's shoulder with a big smile.
Let's finish off our final year as rad as possible so we don't regret it when we're old farts at our reunion, huh?
Brandon watches him with a stunned appearance.
Holy shit.
Suddenly, Robin's daughter appears at the front door.
Mom!
Robin looks back at her momentarily, then turns to the brothers.
Guys, I have to go. And I think you better do the same before my senile neighbors start calling the police.
Hayden tries to step back to her, but Brandon quickly pulls him back.
Oh, we are so out of here.
She starts to head back to the house.
I'll see you guys Saturday.
Okay, I'll see you there, homecoming queen.
In the car, 80s boy. I'm driving.
They get in his car. Brandon floors it, peels out as they speed away. Interior Brandon's car. Brandon speeds through traffic like an ambulance as Hayden relishes, still with a smile on his face.
I am so stoked right now. Where are we going in such a hurry?
Back to the future for you, dude.
Hayden's smile morphs into a confused one. Exterior hypnotherapy building, afternoon. Emergency vehicles with lights flashing cram the front of the building as Brandon and Hayden pull in and park adjacent to the commotion. They exit the car just as a paramedic truck leaves the scene with its siren blaring.
Whoa, some serious action around here.
Brandon frantically looks at all the police and firefighters while he hurries to make his way through to the entrance. He sees the receptionist and medical assistants from earlier huddled together outside. They're sobbing as they hug and comfort one another. Brandon quickly approaches them as Hayden stays several steps behind.
What happened? Where's Asher? We got a problem.
They just transported him to the hospital. He just collapsed and started shaking. They say he suffered a stroke.
Brandon stares, speechless, slowly cranes over to his brother.
Somebody die?
Holy shit.
Hayden stands still with a curious look. Interior hospital evening. 80s music plays. Hayden and Brandon stand in a waiting room. They're looking down the immediate hallway where Asher's assistant and receptionist covey with a doctor.
I can't believe it. That dude was really cool. He helped me, totally.
Brandon moves nervously as he continues staring at them.
Yeah, he totally helped. Hang tight. I'll go find out what's up.
He walks over towards the group just as they end their consultation. The two ladies and Brandon meet up halfway.
He's alive. They got him here in time, so the severity of the stroke was minimized.
Ah, great.
Not so great.
No? Why not so great?
There's paralysis on the right side of the body. Speech and language problems.
Brandon looks at them with a shocked face.
Are you telling me that he can't talk? My brother is stuck in a time warp right now, literally. He needs that trigger word.
The women look down the hallway at Hayden.
He seemed healthy and rejuvenated when you guys left earlier.
Yeah, that's because when you're 17, everything is freaking wonderful. He thinks it's 30 years ago. It's an emergency.
The women look at him with eyes wide, speechless.
Can one of you give him the trigger word?
They both slowly shake their heads.
Asher doesn't divulge any of his patients' medical information or procedures.
This is insane. What the hell am I supposed to do now? Take him to a culture club concert?
The doctor did say recovery could happen quickly or take some time, but the most rapid gains would be during the first 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months?
Hopefully he could regain enough speech back during that time to blurt out the trigger word.
Brandon turns and looks at his brother with a concerned face.
How am I going to live with my 17-year-old brother again?
We'll keep you informed of his condition, I promise. As soon as he can regain his speech, I'll let you know. All I can say is stay with your brother as much as you can until then. I'm sorry.
The women leave as Brandon thinks to himself for a moment, then pulls out his cell phone and dials. Into your parents' house, same. In the kitchen, a silver-haired lady enters and picks up the phone. Barbara Bell, 70s, mother of the two brothers, answers.
Yes?
We interchange between the two.
Hey, Mom.
Well, hello, honey. It's about time you check up on your mother.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Barbara's frown a bit.
What's the matter, son?
Mom, me and Hayden are coming over. I need your help.
Into your parents' house, night. Barbara and Brandon sit in the living room sofa seats. She stares at Brandon motionless for a couple moments.
The 80s?
Brandon slowly nods as she continues looking at him.
And the hypnotist can be speechless for months.
Or weeks.
Just then, Hayden's voice echoes from down the hall.
Mom! Where's my amplifier? I want to practice a little before Dad gets home.
Barbara's eyes raise surprisingly as she quickly looks at Brandon. He helplessly shakes his head to her.
I'll look for it in just a second, honey.
They share a quiet beat together.
I can't have him go through it a second time.
Barbara lets out a long sigh as she stands up.
Well, you boys are welcome to stay here where he can be safe. I'm off to bed.
She walks over and bends to give him a hug.
Thanks for putting his room back together like it was.
I guess that means he won't be making his bed in the morning.
She motions to the TV, which has been running during the conversation without volume.
You mind turning that off for me? The remote's around here somewhere.
Yep.
She leaves the room as he notices the remote half exposed under a couple of magazines on the coffee table. He grabs it and aims it at the TV just as he begins reading the notation on the bottom of the screen. Close-up television. It reads, Hypnosis, a safer alternative? Brandon's eyes narrow as he sees a woman being interviewed by a news reporter. He turns up the volume.
So, what you're saying is anyone can undergo hypnosis without considerable danger?
There's very little risk, and with proper supervision, the subject can and most likely will reap meaningful mental health improvements almost immediately.
Sure, what's to worry about when you're living in the Twilight Zone?
But are we always taught to confront our problems? Does hypnosis just make the patient forget about their fears?
It actually helps with the transformation. When a subject under proper hypnosis confronts the thing that gave them their anxiety originally, the transformation back to the real person can begin.
Brandon raises his eyebrows as he leans in closer.
A better person than before?
Better, yes, but still the old person from before, once they've conquered the element that hindered them in the first place.
Brandon's eyes widen as his face changes to excitement. Exterior Robin's house, early morning, superimposed, Thursday, 2 days before reunion. The front door swings open and Robin appears, still in her nightrobe. She squints her eyes in the bright morning light, looking at Brandon.
We need to talk.
She cautiously looks around her front yard.
Where's your brother?
Interior Robin's kitchen table later. Robin has the same stare to Brandon as Barbara had the night before.
The 80s.
Brandon lets out a big breath.
Yeah.
And you want me to go out with him?
Just lunch or something, just to let him know the truth, gently. Look, Robin, you are the reason he's being troubled all these years, ever since high school. All he ever wanted to do was try to talk to you.
Look, I'm sorry he's had to go through all of this. Maybe he should have tried to talk to me back then. I don't know.
She folds her arms and looks away.
I mean, what am I supposed to do? Dress up like Madonna or something? I don't look like I did 30 years ago. None of us do.
No, you don't have to. That's the amazing thing. He sees everything and everyone just like he did back then.
She thinks to herself for a beat.
Really?
You, me, everybody. It's like we're all back in freaking high school again.
She looks over to the side and sees her reflection in an adjacent mirror.
Well, that may not be such a bad idea.
Listen, if it's coming from you, he'll change back safely and he'll see that he no longer needs to fear anything. Problem solved.
She looks at him with a contemplating expression.
Who knows when that nut job will be able to snap him back, if ever. And come Saturday, I mean, in front of everybody at the reunion, geez, the less people that know, the better.
Might be too late.
She pulls out her cell phone and shows Brandon a quick Snapchat video.
My daughter posted it yesterday.
The screen shows Hayden from earlier holding the boombox over his head on Robin's front yard.
Can you believe it? Over 1 million views already.
Brandon's mouth opens as he stares at the screen. Into your parents' house later. Hayden is frozen with a huge, wide-eyed smile. A couple beats later, he faints and falls backwards. Brandon rolls his eyes.
It's just lunch.
Interior car dealership, afternoon. The showroom is filled with the latest models and several customers looking them over as they mill about. The owner, Rick, walks by a nearby office room where 2 grinning salesmen look at a computer screen.
Hey, when you 2 numbnuts are through watching porn, send me the month's quota sheets.
One of them looks up at him.
Will do, boss. Say, come here and check out this viral vid.
The 2 salesmen laugh as Rick enters the office and turns to the monitor.
Some local loony doing a say anything impression. Trench coat and all.
Rick looks at the video of Hayden, frowns his eyes.
Look at that hairdo. Billy Ray Cyrus with a ghetto blaster.
Rick keeps his focus on the screen.
Both of you hit that showroom.
We're on it.
They change their expression to a serious one as they hustle out of the office. Interior Burger Palace, afternoon. Hayden and Robin stand in front of the restaurant counter, staring at the menu up above. Hayden's face lights up with a smile as Robin keeps an unimpressed expression.
Burger Palace. I haven't been in here since...
He glances at her.
Since before the school year.
She forces out a grin.
It's been a while.
He steps up to the counter.
Cool. Let's get a couple Royal Deluxe.
Robin looks worried.
Okay, and we can just share fries then?
Maybe you better get your own fries. I'm hungry.
Her grin vanishes. Interior Burger Palace. Moments later, they sit across each other in a booth. Hayden devours his burger as Robin slowly takes a cautious bite. Her expression changes as she chews.
Wow, this is better than I remembered.
Hayden nods with his usual smile as he keeps eating.
Rick and I were always going to some fancy upscale place, hobnobbing with his friends, ordering food I couldn't pronounce. Sorry, I know you don't care to hear about him.
That's okay. The big school champion jock can't be easy to forget, I guess.
She thinks to herself for a beat.
It's funny. You tend to forget all those insignificant accomplishments and just remember people for who they really are, the things they do in life afterwards.
She looks at him as he concentrates on her face.
I guess that all sounds a little confusing, huh?
Not too much, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I think about what all my efforts academically, musically, and even socially will take me once I'm done with school, you know?
Her eyebrows raise as she continues to look at him.
Will I eventually be where I want to go? Will I even be happy?
Yes, exactly.
And those close to me as well, will they enjoy being around the type of guy I'll become?
Her eyes widen as she stares at him with an astonished look. After they share an awkward couple moments,
Hayden, how come you never talk to me?
he shrugs his shoulders with a sheepish grin.
Well, I always wanted to, but between your cheerleader friends and then Rick, I just get really nervous. Then, of course, Mr. Winkleman never lets anybody out of their science table.
Oh my gosh, Winkleman. I remember that weirdo, those striped pants.
Yep. And you know how he always has his hand in his pocket, right?
Yeah, why was that? He, would never take it out.
Hayden laughs.
Pocket pool.
Her mouth drops open.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Trying to get that 8-ball in the corner pocket.
They both share a laugh for a few beats. Robin then quiets down and looks at him with a reluctant look.
Hayden, I need to explain something to you. I'm just not sure how you're going to take this.
Still chewing his burger, he looks at her more intently.
The way things appear to you are not really how they are.
He nods with a slight grin.
Are you telling me I'm dreaming?
She studies his face.
Does it feel like you're in a dream?
He loses his grin and wipes his mouth with a napkin.
All I know is that for the first time in my life, I'm not afraid.
Afraid?
I've been crazy about you since we were in the 6th grade. I skipped parties, dances, and even stopped myself from trying out for the baseball and soccer teams, all because of fear. And before yesterday, I couldn't tell you any of this, but for some reason, now I can.
That wonderful. But Hayden, you need to understand.
And you know what the best part is?
What?
That I get to tell you exactly how I feel about you. There's not a single flaw with you, and I'm not just talking about your looks. It's the real you inside that I'm describing. The way you smile and laugh with your friends, the way you help your lab partner when they need it in class, your gentleness. It's all those things I've watched you do for years. You're amazing.
She quietly stares at him, then looks away sheepishly.
What? Did I sound embarrassing?
No, I just haven't heard someone say anything like that to me in a long time.
She looks back at him as they smile at each other.
I'm sorry. You're about to tell me something?
She lets out a deep breath, continues to look at him as he takes another bite. Into your parents' house, evening. Brandon reaches on the top shelf in the kitchen pantry. He stretches his neck as he pushes and shifts items around. He cranes over to the hallway and yells,
Mom, where's the oatmeal cookies?
Honey, they're behind the spaghetti.
The front door opens and Hayden slowly steps inside. He maintains a dead, expressionless face. Brandon abruptly turns and sees him, slams the pantry door closed.
Hey, how did it go?
Hayden continues to slowly pace himself quietly towards the living room.
Did Robin and you chat?
Hayden slowly nods.
Did she explain things to you? Are you okay?
He nods again.
Well, what did she say?
Hayden slowly looks up at Brandon. His expression morphs into a delighted explosion.
Dude, she digs me. We're going out again tomorrow.
What?
He starts cheering in the living room with double fists in the air.
This is the best week of my life!
He stops just enough to glance at his brothers, whose face has become frozen in a panic stare.
Dude, isn't this righteously awesome?
Brandon forces a slight grin.
Totally.
Brandon has a frightened look, and Hayden flashes his familiar smile. Exterior Fun Castle, day. 80s music plays. Begin montage. Robin and Hayden play miniature golf. They make putts and cheer each other on. Brandon stays inconspicuously away, seated on a bench, watching them through a small pair of binoculars. He sees them occasionally laugh with each other as he frowns with a questionable look. Interior arcade room, same. Robin and Hayden play various retro video games as Brandon peeks from behind a distant arcade game. He looks at them curiously. They play skee ball, ride bumper boats, and walk throughout the grounds. As the couple walks by the batting cages, Brandon, who's inside one of the cages with a bat and helmet, turns and stares at them as they pass. A couple beats later, he's smacked with the next pitch on the head. He falls down out of view. Interior arcade ticket counter, same. Hayden stands with a handful of tickets they won from various games. Robin and Hayden both look at various prizes. Robin points to an oversized candy ring shaped like a diamond ring. Hayden hands tickets to arcade employee, and he hands Hayden the ring. Hayden gets down on one knee and gives Robin the ring. She puts it on, they both laugh, and she licks the ring like a lollipop. Interior big air indoor trampoline, day. Robin and Hayden joke and laugh as they bounce on various trampolines. At a distance behind a padded barrier, Brandon's head appears and disappears repeatedly as he spies on them when he bounces upward. Suddenly, he accidentally catches a thrown football, and several kids sharing the same trampoline gang tackle him. They all go flying into a foam pit. End montage. 80s music stops. Interior pizza parlor later. Robin and Hayden enjoy their pizza as they sit at a table across from each other. Brandon enters the restaurant and smiles at them as he approaches. Hayden nods at him as Robin's smile vanishes, and she looks the other way.
Hey! My brother with the class president. Wow, who would have thought that, huh?
Robin looks at him with a guilty expression as she reaches for her pizza.
Hey, Brandon.
He stares at her with a serious face.
I voted for you.
She manages a grin.
Thanks.
Dude, you should see this girl tear it up on Miss Pac-Man. I think she beat your high score.
Brandon gives a fake laugh as he continues to dead stare Robin.
Ah, that's just great.
She says she can jam on Centipede, too.
She said that. Yeah, I bet that's the only thing she told you, huh?
She looks away as she takes a bite.
Robin wants to hear us jam, by the way.
Brandon nervously laughs.
Okay.
He slides off his seat and leaves them. Hayden looks at him leave, then glances at Robin with a confused grin as her eyes stare at the ceiling while slurping her empty soda. Interior Patient Rehabilitation Center, afternoon. Close-up, Asher's face. His eyes are dead locked on Brandon as he struggles to move his mouth. Brandon leans in close with eyes wide open as he watches Asher make strange expressions and hum noises.
Come on, Doc.
Asher raises his one good hand and points at him.
Yeah? Yes?
More strange facial movements, hums, and finally his arm drops and he passes out. Brandon looks over to the nurse who's next to Asher's bed, monitoring his vitals.
I'm sorry. His facial muscles are just not strong enough yet to talk.
Brandon sighs.
Good news is he's regaining some neurological stimulation in the lower extremities.
She motions her eyes to his groin area.
You know, down there.
Brandon's eyes cautiously move toward the target area.
This morning even, he was standing full attention if you get my drift. Quite the little trooper Grandpa is.
Brandon's quizzical face slowly cranes away from her as he leaves Asher's bedside. Exterior movie theater, late afternoon. Robin and Hayden approach the ticket booth as they chat and share laughs.
Robin?
They both stop and look to see Rick as he walks up to them from the side. He has a curious crooked grin as he examines both of them.
Rick, what are you doing here?
Allison told me you'd be here. You and, Hayden Bell?
Rick looks at him up and down like an unwelcome guest.
I sort of remember you.
Hey, Rick.
Nice haircut. I see you're ready for tomorrow night.
Robin sports a concerned stare at him.
Rick, what do you want? The kids are okay.
He continues looking Hayden over with a devilish grin.
Not worried. I was just dropping off some things she had left the other day. I don't know if Robin told you, but we have some history that includes...
Yes, he knows, Rick. We don't need to hash out our issues right here and now, understand?
Hayden awkwardly looks at both of them.
Look, I know you were both serious at one time, and I understand this is how it goes sometimes during breakups. But hey, Rick, I want you to know I still think you're one rad dude. And I'll be pulling for you and the whole team like I do for every game.
Rick looks at him with a confused stare.
Hayden, let's just go inside.
Cool. We're gonna see Top Gun. It's supposed to be awesome.
Rick's eyes narrow as he glances up at the banner sign above the entrance doors. It reads, Retro Throwback Month, Top Gun.
You never seen Top Gun?
Hayden happily shakes his head as Robin pulls him inside the theater.
See you tomorrow at the dance. Good luck against Sabino.
Rick watches them disappear with a strange stare as the door closes. Interior theater lobby moments later. Robin and Hayden make their way towards one of the theaters when suddenly her cell phone goes off. Hayden looks at her as she sees Brandon's number.
That is so awesome. I gotta get me one of those.
I need to get this. Hey, how about getting us some popcorn and I'll get some seats?
You got it.
He heads towards the concession counter. She ducks around the corner and answers her phone.
Yes, I know. I'm going to tell him, okay?
We interchange between them.
When? Tomorrow when you see him in class? Because that's what he's going to want to do in the morning. You know, go to freaking high school.
I'm waiting for the right time. Look, it's been really great getting to know him, okay? I'm actually enjoying his company.
You're dating a minor. That's illegal for a woman your age, you know that?
She rolls her eyes.
This isn't that easy, Brandon, okay? Your brother's really a sweet guy. I haven't felt this way in... Look, he's just so happy right now.
I get it. I know he's happy, and I'm happy for him, honestly. He's got to be in heaven right now, hanging around you, and that's all great. But I'm worried the longer he stays in the la-la land, the harder of the crash will be.
She takes a deep breath.
You're right. I'll talk to him tonight after Top Gun.
She hangs up. Brandon looks at his cell, then gazes away.
Top Gun?
Exterior Robin's front door, evening. Robin and Hayden stroll up to her doorstep as they chat. Sound of children's voices and playing can be heard coming from inside the house. She stops and puts her head close to the door with a concerned expression.
Could you wait out here for just a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, I'll be right back.
She hurries inside and quickly closes the door as Hayden stares at it, confused. Interior Robin's house, continuous. Robin turns from the door and sees Rick playing and laughing with Michael and Allison in the living room. They all see her. Rick puts Michael down from off his shoulders.
Mom, Dad wants to take us all off to Disney World.
It'll be like a family vacation. Can we go?
Robin looks at Rick in shock as he returns a huge grin.
Be like old times.
She manages to break away her piercing eyes at him.
You two should get ready for bed. It's a school night.
Aw, can we still go on vacation?
We'll talk about it tomorrow. Both of you say goodnight to your father and go upstairs.
They both hug Rick and dash upstairs. Robin watches Rick with arms folded and a skeptical stare.
What? Can a dad be a dad sometimes?
What are you doing? Getting their hopes up so you can just blow them off again?
No, this is legit. It'll give us a chance to spend some quality time with the kids. They're growing up so fast.
Well, they may be easily persuaded by Mickey Mouse won't work on me.
He strolls closer to her with that grin and open palms.
Hey, what are you getting so worked up about? No harm in their parents trying to work things out, huh? It would be good for them to see us all together.
Suddenly there's a knock at the door.
Who's that?
Robin sighs, walks toward the door.
There's nothing to work out, Rick. The divorce is finalized.
She opens it, and Hayden looks at them with a boyish grin.
Is everything okay?
Hayden steps inside the house as Rick moves towards him with a non-impressed look.
Well, a blast from the past.
Hayden looks over to Robin.
Rick was just leaving.
Rick continues looking over Hayden with a slight chuckle.
Just came by to talk to Robin about the kids, you know?
Rick!
Hayden looks at both of them, confused for a beat.
Oh, you guys share babysitting duties? Huh? Cool.
Rick frowns with a smirk.
Babysitting. Yeah, that's pretty funny. You know, after seeing you earlier, I did a little looking back. I don't remember you ever being this funny.
Hayden nods.
In fact, I remember you being that little scared computer dork who couldn't raise his head to talk to anybody besides other computer dorks.
Yeah, and we're also the ones who helped half your team with math.
Rick smirks at him.
And now you're all Mr. Viral. Not a timid geek bone in you, huh? So, what happened? Shock therapy? Or you finally got laid?
Hayden quickly thinks.
Therapy, yeah, but no shocking. Dr. Asher, rad dude, but too bad he got a stroke.
Rick makes a surprised face.
Too bad for him?
Robin impatiently interrupts.
Rick, it's getting late.
Rick looks back at Hayden, strolls up, and leans in close to his face, just a few inches away.
They say people can change. I don't buy it. Deep down, everybody is who they used to be.
They lock eyes for a few beats. Hayden gives him a slight grin.
I see that.
Rick breaks away his cold stare and exits the house. Hayden turns to Robin as she looks back at him, worried.
I'm really sorry about all that.
No problemo. He looks like he has his game face all ready for tomorrow.
Robin rolls her eyes.
Hayden, I need to talk to you about something.
Suddenly, Allison appears from the hallway. Robin sees her.
Honey, what are you still doing up?
She walks up and kisses Robin on the cheek.
I forgot to say goodnight.
She quizzically looks at Hayden as he smiles back at her and looks down at her Vans slippers.
Whoa, Van slippers. Totally rad.
Thanks. Are those the classic checkers?
Yeah. Hey, we can do the Breakfast Club foot dance.
She gives a confused look.
The what?
Here, let me show you.
He steps over and stands next to her. She watches him demonstrate alternating foot shuffles as his body moves sideways.
Cool.
Hayden motions at Robin.
You know how? Let's do it.
Robin joins him, and together they simultaneously shuffle their feet the same way as they slide sideways, left and right.
Of course, this is way cooler with music.
80s music plays.
You try?
Allison hands Robin her cell phone and joins Hayden.
Video us.
Robin points the cell phone at their shoes and videos Hayden and Allison's sideways foot shuffle. We see various video snapshots being posted online of their foot dance, as well as increasing number of view hits. The headline across the screen displays, 80s guy strikes again. 80s music stops. Into your parents' house morning. Superimpose. Friday. Day of reunion. Brandon sleeps in an awkward position. His drooling mouth lays open as he snores. Hayden's hand starts pushing on Brandon's back as he twists and groans.
Dude, wake up.
She's 18, I swear.
He falls off the bed. Thump.
Get up, bro. We're gonna be late for school.
Brandon struggles as he comes to. He squints his eyes at Hayden.
What? Whoa, wait a second. What happened last night? What did Robin say to you?
Hayden's eyes wander for a beat.
Nothing, really.
Hayden gives him his usually big smile as Brandon looks on confused.
Now come on, let's go. I want to get there early so I can talk to her.
He quickly exits the room.
Well, hold on. Hayden!
Brandon staggers to get up.
Wait!
He falls over as he tries to put on his pants. Interior car dealership morning. Close-up, computer monitor. Search results display with links and a couple photos of Dr. Asher. We see the cursor move across the screen and then click on one of them. Asher's business website appears. The title, Hypnotherapy Oasis, headlines the page along with an image of Asher and all his credentials. We pan back and reveal who's sitting in front of the computer. It's Rick. He narrows his brows as he continues to stare at the screen. It reads an alternative way towards a better you and a phone number. Rick reaches for his desk phone and dials the number.
Good morning, Hypnotherapy Oasis.
Dr. Asher's office.
Yes, hello. I was just confirming that Dr. Asher was currently out due to an injury and not available.
That's correct, unfortunately. He's still in the hospital, but slowly recovering. If you like, we can take your information and contact you when he returns.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. No, that's fine. I can always call back later. I hope he gets better soon.
We do too. Thank you for calling.
Bye-bye.
He hangs up, slowly leans back in his executive chair, and takes a few beats.
Hypnosis.
Just then, a salesman pops his head in Rick's office with an excited expression.
Showroom's packed. Looks like we're gonna have a kick-ass day.
He disappears. Rick glances back at the webpage and his face morphs into a devilish grin.
Yeah, we sure are.
Exterior high school parking lot evening. 80s music plays. Brandon's vehicle pulls into a spot and stops. Brandon powers off the car, which shuts off the radio. Superimpose, class reunion. 80s music stops. Hayden gets out of the passenger seat of the car and looks out at the school.
Can't believe they had a bomb scare. Felt totally weird not going to school today.
Brandon rolls his eyes away.
Not as much as you'd think.
I guess we totally lucked out the homecoming dance is still on, huh?
Brandon keeps an expressionless face.
Never felt so lucky in my life. Come on, let's go.
They get out and start walking towards the gymnasium. A huge banner stretches across the outside of the building. It reads, "Welcome, class of 1988.
Check it out. We're seniors, finally.
Yeah, deja vu all over again.
Hayden motions toward the school. Interior gymnasium continuous. Hayden approaches the check-in table where Brenda, 40s, a woman wearing glasses, sits welcoming people. Hayden looks at the table where dozens of picture badges are laid out.
Hey, Brenda. What's with all the name badges?
She gives him a questionable look.
And you are?
Come on. Has it been that long since I saw you in chemistry?
Hayden? Oh my god, look at you.
She hands him his badge.
I love the hair.
Thanks.
He hesitantly takes the badge as Brandon approaches from behind.
Okay, seems kind of unnecessary, but oh well.
Brenda sees Brandon approaching behind him, and her expression changes to an unpleasant one.
And of course, brother too. Here. Make sure it breaks skin.
Good to see you too, Four Eyes.
We enter the gym, which is echoing with loud 80s music. Middle-aged people with drinks in hand flood the place, which is decorated like a nightclub.
Why is everyone wearing these name tags?
Maybe it's hard to see in here?
Then how are we going to read them?
I don't know. Stop asking questions.
Suddenly, a middle-aged man with suspenders and spectacles stumbles in front of them. George Ronan, 40s, with another cocktail in hand.
Hayden, dude, what is up?
Georgie! Hey, man.
He stops laughing long enough to take another drink.
Hey, did you guys check out Pamela Tyson? Whoa, did she get fat or what?
Brandon rolls his eyes.
Okay, this goes over my nerd quota. I'm getting one of those.
He departs and disappears in the crowd.
Dude, I love the hair.
Hayden looks at his cocktail and then at him with a curious face.
Hey, did someone spike the drink?
George's eyes are wide open as he stares at Hayden for a moment, then lets out a roar of a laugh. Hayden, unsure, laughs with him for a moment.
Hey, have you seen Robin?
Over there, check out what she looks like.
Hayden turns, and several yards away in the mists of people, he sees a few women chatting together. Each of them are dressed in 80s apparel. Robin, in the middle of the group, is dressed in full retro Madonna fashion. She sees Hayden and smiles. Hayden returns the same smile as he walks up to her.
Wow, you look totally radical.
Thanks. Isn't this great?
Hayden looks around.
Totally. I just don't get all the name tags.
She awkwardly looks away.
Oh, yeah. Must be a school spirit thing.
The band's song ends, and there's a loud trumpet-like sound. The lights suddenly go out, and the entire gym is dark. A classmate takes the stage microphone.
And now, your class of 1988 homecoming king, Rick Traeger.
A spotlight shoots a beam across the gym towards the exit doors as they open. A brand new convertible is slowly driven straight into the gym by a chauffeur with a black hat. Rick sits on top in the back seat wearing an extravagant robe and crown. He waves to the crowd as the car makes its way to the front of the stage. Robin and Hayden stand on the gym floor as everyone watches Rick.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Rick steps out of the convertible and takes the microphone.
Thank you, my peasants. But what would a king be without his queen? You all remember who that would be, don't you?
The spotlight turns to Robin, who looks at everyone in shock as Rick smiles with his hand extended towards her.
Please join me, my queen. Won't everyone give Robin a big round of applause?
She looks at Hayden. He shrugs his shoulders with a smile. The crowd cheers as she hesitates, then slowly makes her way towards Rick.
There we go. Come join your
He
king.
pulls out a crown for her as she reaches him.
What the hell are you doing?
He covers the microphone with his hand.
Just a little show for the reunion, that's all. Relax.
He puts the crown on her. She looks out into the cheering crowd with an unhappy face.
I give you your king and queen.
Hayden and the rest of the crowd applaud. He does it with a dissatisfying smirk.
Just a reminder to you all that there's no doubt who your favorite couple was and always will be.
Rick all of a sudden puts his arm around Robin and leans in for the kiss. She quickly pushes him away and the crowd's cheer vanishes. She removes her crown.
You're pathetic.
The entire place goes quiet as Hayden approaches them.
That's enough, Rick.
Rick turns and sees him. He lets out a slight chuckle.
Well, look who lost his Rubik's Cube. What are you going to do about it?
Hayden looks at him with a serious face.
I'm not afraid anymore.
Rick laughs out loud as he looks around.
You really think you can take me, huh? You're more brainwashed than I thought.
Hayden moonwalks back several feet away from Rick and his surprised look as the gym floor clears.
Dance off.
Rick stares at him. The crowd begins to root them on as he looks around at the excited classmates and back to Hayden, who just smiles at him. Hayden suddenly launches into a series of old familiar moves as the band changes songs. Rick takes his crown and robe off and begin to battle as the crowd roars. Hayden and Rick trade off, doing all the classic 80s dance moves. Hayden's dance moves are a clear tribute to famous dances from 80s movies. Hayden wins round after round as Rick's face grows into a fury. One final move, and Hayden ends up in a winning pose. The crowd explodes with its decision cheer. Hayden wins. Hayden high-fives the crowd and then hugs Robin and lifts her up and spins her around. Rick storms off from the dance floor and onto the stage as Hayden and two other classmates mimic the Breakfast Club three-man strut. The crowd cheers them on. All of a sudden, Rick grabs the microphone as the music comes to a screeching halt. All eyes turn towards him.
I can't believe I graduated with you people. Sure, you bought your cars for me, but come on! You were stooped. Your kids were fooled. So let me tell y'all something about
Rick looks directly down and points at Hayden.
that 1980s guy.
Everyone curiously stares at Hayden. Brandon, who's in the far side of the gym, starts to make his way through people towards Hayden.
Hayden doesn't know this is our 30th high school reunion. He doesn't know we're all 30 years older because he still thinks he's in the 80s.
Rick smiles at him.
He doesn't see all of you like you really look now. He sees everyone just like you look back in high school because he still thinks we're in high school. And this is our homecoming dance 30 years ago.
Rick jumps down off the stage with microphone in hand as he approaches Hayden, whose famous smile has now vanished.
The big reason why this dweeb looks and acts like he just stepped out of a DeLorean is because Hayden has been hypnotized.
The crowd begins chatting and whispering among themselves as they look on at Hayden. Brandon begins to hurry, still going through a barrage of people.
Well, that's right, folks. This viral clown your kids made famous is not pretending. He really is lost in the 80s. Good old-fashioned spazzle.
Rick gets close to Hayden, still with microphone in hand.
Take a look around you, mullet man. You see any teachers or faculty running this homecoming dance? Is any one of us dressed like you?
Hayden cautiously glances at some of the classmates near him. Rick strolls over next to Robin, who has her head down in her hands, and puts an arm around her for a beat.
And yeah, those are our kids we were babysitting. Yeah, that's right. Robin and I were married.
She looks away with a sickened look as he takes away his arm from around her and slowly approaches Hayden again with a pompous grin.
We had a life after high school. So you see, 80s boy, nothing is odd or strange other than you. And nothing has really changed, has it?
Hayden glances over and sees Robin, who looks at him with a saddened face. He walks over to her.
Is all this true?
She's almost in tears.
I'm sorry, Hayden. I was going to tell you.
POV Hayden. Suddenly, Hayden starts to see her face blur and morph from a teenager to the woman in her 40s, back and forth. He looks around him at the other classmates, and the same images of their faces do the same. Everyone around him has a distorted, blurred face that changes from young to older. He continues to turn and look, spinning around from face to face till he sees Brandon, who finally reaches him through the crowd. Brandon's face equally morphs back and forth.
Hayden!
The whole world blurs as Hayden's eyes roll back and he drops to the floor unconscious. Flashback to exterior, front of gymnasium, night, 1987. Debbie stands in front to the entrance holding 2 tickets in her hand. She looks at her watch and then looks to see if the someone she's waiting for has arrived. Exterior parking lot, night. Brandon and Hayden drive in and park their dad's car.
So sweet that Dad let us take the car.
Yeah, I guess.
Dude, cheer up. This homecoming dance is gonna be epic.
Brandon hops out of the car. Hayden sits in the front seat.
You coming or what?
I'll be there in a minute.
Okay, whatever floats your boat.
Brandon saunters off. Hayden slowly gets out of the passenger side, closes the door, and looks toward the entrance to the gymnasium. Exterior, front of gymnasium, continuous. Hayden sees Brandon enter. He then sees Rick walk up to the front of the gymnasium with his teammates. They all high-five each other. Robin walks out of the gymnasium.
It's about time.
Rick grabs her and lays a big kiss on her.
Now that's how to start a homecoming dance.
Robin smiles.
The king has to greet the queen properly. Well, let's get this dance started.
Rick takes Robin's hand and they enter into the gymnasium. Exterior parking lot, continuous. Hayden's face turns to deep despair. He hangs his head. He then turns and starts walking away out of the parking lot towards his house. Exterior, front of gymnasium, continuous. Debbie stands looking at the 2 tickets in her hand. She shakes her head with disappointment. She then tosses 1 ticket away and heads into the gymnasium. Flashback to present day, exterior gymnasium, night. Hayden sits on a patio table as 2 paramedics work on him. He stares at a card with his head down as the men put away their medical tools.
You may feel lightheaded for some time, okay?
Hayden looks up at them with a disappointed grin.
You hang in there, all right?
He nods. The men pick up their medic boxes and leave. He looks back down at the card, which is his driver's license. Close up, driver's license. We see the photo and the expiration date of June 9th, 2034. He continues to stare at it as Robin and Brandon nonchalantly come up to join him.
Hey, partner. How you doing?
For a 48-year-old teenager, okay, I suppose.
Hayden breaks away from his license and looks up at them.
I guess I really seem crazy these past few days, huh?
Robin quickly sits next to him on the bench and puts her arm around him.
You're not crazy. You showed me someone who's kind, courageous, and full of passion. I had forgotten what being young and having the whole world ahead of you felt like. You reminded me of all that.
Was he real?
Everything you did, Hayden came from the heart. And that's real, no matter how old you thought you were.
Hayden slowly nods as he thinks to himself, then looks up at Brandon with a straight face for a couple beats.
How come I haven't seen Dad? Something happened to him, didn't it?
Brandon carefully looks at him.
We lost Dad 10 years ago. Cancer.
Hayden looks back down with a saddened face as Brandon joins them and sits next to Hayden on his other side.
Hey, you got to see what became of you. And he was very proud.
Hayden ponders a few moments, then looks at Brandon with a curious face.
Why did you keep me in the dark?
I didn't even realize it till a couple days ago. Besides, would you have believed me?
So what happens now? Do I just hang in limbo or just try to forget everything?
You are not forgetting anything the past few days, especially with me.
She rolls her eyes.
Except for whatever Rick said.
Jeez. And I always rooted for that guy. Is he still in here?
Nope.
Brandon stands back up.
After you passed out, the whole place started yelling at him. Got booed right out of the building. It was epic.
Exterior, out front of gymnasium, moments before night. Rick walks humiliated out of the gymnasium and walks down towards the parking lot. He sees a woman sitting on a stairwell holding a 1988 yearbook. Debbie Meyer, late 40s, the girl from computer class with a crush on Hayden. All grown up, nerdy, attractive.
Is it over yet?
You mean the reunion? Yeah, it's really not worth going back into.
Oh, I was late.
Rick notices the yearbook.
Is that from 88?
Debbie adjusts her glasses.
Yes.
She hands it over to Rick. On the page open to Computer Club, Rick glances at the photo. Close-up of picture. We see Debbie sitting next to Hayden in Computer Lab.
Is this you?
Not my best look. Debbie Meyer, computer geek extraordinaire.
I didn't realize you knew Hayden Bell.
Debbie looks down and then rubs her hair upwards.
Yeah, I knew him.
Well. Debbie, how would you like to get a cup of coffee?
Rick smiles. Debbie looks towards the gym, then turns back to Rick.
Sure. Sounds like I missed all the fun anyway.
I think you will find out that the fun is just about to begin.
Exterior gymnasium, moments later at night. Hayden manages a grin. Robin puts her hands on his shoulder.
Hey, are you okay?
Hayden nods.
Let's get back in there and enjoy the reunion. I don't know if I'll want to do this again in 10 years.
You got that right. They probably won't have an open bar again. Let's go.
Brandon starts to dart back to the gym and all of a sudden...
Hey,
Brandon stops and turns back to him. Hayden stands up smiling, looking at both of them.
there's one more thing I'd like to do.
Robin excitingly stands.
Really? What?
Hayden glances back to his brother.
I'm gonna need your help, bro.
Brandon looks confused. Hayden just nods with his trademark smile and eyes wide open. Brandon watches him and finally his eyebrows rise with a grin.
Holy shit.
Interior gymnasium night. Melt With You plays the iconic song by Modern English. Hayden is on stage and jams lead guitar on stage with the 80s cover band and his brother Brandon on drums. They perform in front of the entire class reunion as everyone dances. George barges in on a couple sitting at a table who's enjoying the song. He puts his arms around them, still laughing and holding another drink.
The drinks are spiked. I love that guy.
They look at him with a strange expression. During one of the solo riffs, Hayden jumps down from the stage next to Robin, who's in the front row. They kiss.
That was worth waiting 30 years.
They smile at each other and begin to dance away with everyone else as we pan up and back across the entire gymnasium. Credits begin to roll, cut to interior kitchen morning. Brandon walks into kitchen and pours himself a cup of coffee. Barbara sits at kitchen table reading the newspaper.
Morning, honey. Did you have fun last night?
Brandon rubs his head.
A little too much fun.
Did you lose your brother?
Brandon spits out his coffee.
He's not home?
He didn't come home last night.
That's either a really good sign or an extremely bad one.
He is back from the whole 80s thing, isn't he?
I sure hope so, Mom. I sure hope so.
Interior hotel room, early morning. We see a Vans checkered slipper, a pink blazer, another Vans checkered slipper, pink slaps on the floor that lead up to bed. Hayden lies on his back without his shirt under covers with a broad smile on his face. Robin has sheep wrapped around her getting out of bed. She grabs her clothes.
I have to get going. I had the best time last night.
Hayden is frozen in his smile. She quickly goes into bathroom and puts on her clothes. She comes back into room dressed.
I'll give you a call later this week.
She looks over at him.
Everything okay, Hayden?
Hayden nods.
Totally righteous.
Robin laughs and exits out the door.
Like, for sure.
Hayden smiles even broader. Fade out.